Hey you want to see a model kit that is just as amazing as the HGUC Revive RX-78
Yeah?
Introducing the HGUC Revive Gundam Mark II!
Well, how is it amazing?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Take it away, Plastic Disasta!
Thanks, infomercial guy. How's it going, guys? It is Plastic Disasta, and today I am going to do a review of the HGUC Revive Gundam Mark II Titans. Now, notice how I said the word revive. Now, if you guys are new here, when they revive a new model kit, they modernize it and give it completely new molds. In a way, think of it as a remake, like the 1933 King Kong versus the 2005 King Kong movie. I can't say anything on the old HGUC Gundam Mark II model kit because I never built it before. And one last thing I want to point out, I have built this kit before, but it is the HGUC version. And yes, spoiler alert, it's a fantastic model kit. What's even better is that they're both retail release, so none of these kits are P Bandai. So with that out of the way, let's give a little brief backstory of the Gundam Mark II. It's pretty much a successor of the original Gundam. This guy is pretty much a bulkier RX-78. So taking a look at the box art, we had the Gundam Mark II Titans version flying around in space, and you had the HGUC flying along with it. Looking at this side of the box, we have the front and back shot of the Gundam, the action poses, the gimmicks, and the weapon layout. And look at this side of the box. Now this is before they put English text on their boxes, but we have a CG render of two Gundam Mark II fighting each other. That's from the first few episodes from the anime Zeta Gundam. And cracking open the box, we are greeted with 3 bags of runners and a manual. You have the cover of the manual. Here is the Gundam Mark II Titans version, all painted up, and here we have the specs of the mobile suit. I'm not going to go into detail of the manual like how I always do, so I'm just going to go over the highlights. So on this page, it looks like we see 2 familiar poses and 1 new one. You can look at this part of the manual. It looks like we're going to be using all of the parts. At the back of the manual, we see a brand new action pose, a familiar rear shot, the weapons, marking stickers, a familiar CG render, and a color guide if you're planning on painting it. Here we have runner A1. It's gonna be the dark blue parts. Now, my iPhone camera doesn't do justice because it almost looks like black parts, but trust me, it's dark blue. And looks like we have parts for the shoulders, the feet, ankle armors, as parts for the shield. Those are parts for the arms. Those are leg parts, head parts. We have runner A2, which is a copy of this section. Then we have runner B1, which is the light gray parts, and these are parts for the elbow bands, the knee bands, and we also have parts for the weapons, and it looks like we have some hands, the waist, and that's part of the torso. And runner B2 is going to be a copy of this section. C is going to be the black parts, and it seems like we have parts for the backpack, torso, the feet, that's parts for the shield, and those are parts for the skirts. D1 and D2 are actually 2 separate runners. The D1 is going to be the red parts. We have parts for the head, that's parts for the torso, parts for the shield. Runner D2 is the yellow parts. Those are thruster parts, parts for the torso, and that's a part for the head. Runner E is going to be the clear blue parts, and those are parts for the eyes. Small polycap runner, Team Saber effect parts, marking stickers, and a small sticker sheet. And look at that, no color correcting stickers. Those silver stickers right there. Remember I showed you the clear light blue parts? Now if you put it behind the clear blue parts, it's gonna make them shine. That's about it for the unboxing. Not a lot of runners, but we're still gonna get a great kit out of it. So I'll see you guys after the build. Here we have the Gundam Mark II Titans version all put together, and I had to say, building this kit was actually quite a blast, even though it's actually very simple. And the box presentation, it is really nice. The color separation, I gotta say, give it a little chef's kiss, mwah. The proportions of this kit, it's like the mix between bulky and slim, really nice balance. The sticker placement, the eye sticker, of course, go in the eye. And I did use the silver reflecting stickers, and it does make the eye shine, I promise that. Maybe because the lighting on my setup is not the best. Continuing on the head, the number 4 sticker does go onto the forehead, while the number 6 sticker goes on the back of the head. On the chest, these 2 number 1 stickers are going to go on this part of the chest. The number 5 sticker goes onto the beam rifle right there. The number 3 sticker goes onto the bazooka. And the number 2 sticker goes onto the Vulcan pod. And you have these marking stickers, so you can choose either unit 1, 2, or 3. The big sticker goes onto this part of the shoulder. The medium sticker goes onto this side of the knee, while the small sticker goes onto this part of the back skirt. As for seam lines, there's one going up and down on the head. There's one right here on the side of the arm, but it could go as a detail. We do have one tricky seam line on the side of the backpack. And we do have seam lines on the beam rifle and the bazooka. And that wraps up the out-of-box presentation. And I had to say, seems like I don't have to put a lot of work into it. I'll work on this kit right now, and I'll see you guys right after. And after all that work, here is what the Gundam Mark II would look like. And I have to say, doing some detail work is actually fairly easy. That is, if you don't mind bringing out the spray cans or an airbrush. More on that later. Moving on with accessories, for hand options, all you get is the weapon holding hands, if only it comes with an open palm hand, but hey, I'm not complaining. Next up, you have the shield, really nice color separation once again, and also has really nice detail in the back. You do get ammo packs, but it is stuck in there. You also get 2 types of adapters. This adapter will have the Gundam Mark II hold the shield on the side of the arm, and this one will have it hold it underneath the arm. To collapse the shield, you're going to pull this bottom piece out, and you'll see a tab, and you're going to plug it right up here, and here's how it looks when it's collapsed. You have its beam rifle, and once again, the ammo pack does not pull out. You also get another handle that moves up and down. To store the beam rifle, there's like a little peg right there, and you insert it right to this little slot right up here. It's a little tricky to get in, but once you manage to do it, this is how it looks. Also, the dark gray right there, I hand painted that. To make him hold the beam rifle, you're gonna have to pull the hand cover out, put the beam rifle handle in, and sandwich it together. Next up, you have the clay bazooka, and the dark gray you see right there, I used a spray can. And the handle moves in and out. To store the clay bazooka, and yes, I did paint the red details on the backpack, you're gonna have to pull this piece out, or this piece will flip out, and you're gonna store the bazooka. Here's what it looks like when it's stored, and I should not do this because I don't want to risk chipping the paint. Next up, you have this Vulcan pod, and where does it go? On the head. And here's how it looks, and I have to say, it does look a little ridiculous. I think it looks better without it. I don't know, maybe they just made it a little too wide. Finally, you have 2 beam saber effect parts, and the beam saber handles are located on the backpack. And here's what the Gundam Mark II all loaded up. Looks pretty awesome, right? I'll give you another second just to look at it, and then we'll move on to the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, and right in there's also a hinge which allows the head to move up that far. It's pretty nice. That's where it gets interesting. See the shoulders right there? It is on a ball joint, but look at this gray piece right up there. If you move the shoulder up, it moves along with it. Rather than having forward shoulder movement, this is the substitute. And can the arm reach higher? Yes, it can. You also get a bicep swivel, double bend on the elbow. The wrist is on a ball joint. You do get a waist swivel, but due to the design, it is hindered. And you also get an ab crunch. Front skirt moves out. Side skirt moves out just a little bit. Back skirt, fixed position. Leg can move this far up, this far out to the side, almost a full split. This far back, only a little bit until it hits the back skirt. Double bend at the knee. The ankle armor can move up and down, and there is a hinge right there, and there's also a ball joint right there, so the foot can have more range of articulation, can move up this far back, and as for a pivot, you do get a little, but it works. Onto the backpack, these thrusters are in a fixed position, and right up here is on a ball joint. Hey guys, Editing Plastic Disasta here. Forgot to tell you that the Gundam Mark II can do one of these on the hip joint. Overall, the articulation on this kit is really good. I'd say it's almost on par with the Revive RX-782 Gundam. For size comparisons, here he is right next to his predecessor, the HGUC Revive RX-782. As you can see, the Gundam Mark II is a tad bit taller than the standard Gundam. Up next, here he is right next with the other Zeta kits, the Zeta Gundam, and the HGUC Gundam Mark II, the AU version. And for something special, here he is right next to the high-grade Future Century Master Gundam, and the high-grade after colony, Wing Zero. Let me ask you guys a quick question. You ever played Dynasty Warriors Gundam back in the Xbox 360 and PS3 days? Finally, here it is right next to Optimus Prime and Godzilla. So that's about it for the size comparison, and let's move on to my final thoughts. So for my final thoughts on this kit, overall, I highly recommend you pick this kit up. It has great color separation and articulation, and the accessories is enough to please you. And I already mentioned that it should come with an open palm hand just to make this kit feel complete. Now, even though the out-of-box presentation is great, you still have to put a little more work into it. Because if you haven't noticed, I did put like bits of silver all around the kit just to make it pop a little more. Also, I've been kind of thinking about getting another one of these kits just to give it a complete paint job. Okay, so that's about it for the review. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Any comments or questions, comment down below. If you're new here, subscribe to see more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Wow, what a great kit! But is there a Gundam Mark III? Oh, I'm glad you asked. There is. Only if you're willing to pay for Pete Bandai.